This week on Real Talk with Denver7 and CPR News. So many people in Colorado struggle to make ends meet, but some groups are picking up the slack to help.
And in our current world, in our current economy, cash is freedom.
This week, we're having a real talk about cash assistance in the state.
We can do something that makes a difference.
The program's available for those in need of extra help and personal stories from Coloradans who have benefited from them.
Welcome to Real Talk with Denver7 and CPR News. I'm Colorado Public Radio's Nathan Heffel.
And I'm Denver7's Micah Smith. Each week in a partnership between Denver7 and CPR, we'll have a real talk about issues impacting underrepresented people across Colorado.
And today we're talking about cash assistance. These are programs that provide payments to those in our communities who need it most.
Whether it comes in the forms of stimulus checks, unemployment benefits, or a child tax credit, cash assistance allows families to meet a wide range of basic needs they otherwise may not be able to.
It's a crucial resource for a lot of people in our state. According to the latest U.S. Census Bureau data available, 9.4% of Coloradans' population are living below the poverty line. The Colorado Health Institute says in 2023, 7% of Coloradans worried they would not have a place to live in the next 2 months.
At the same time, 20% of adults here say they regularly cut back or skip meals because there wasn't enough money to buy food. That's according to Hunger Free Colorado. Now, this is where cash assistance programs step in to help. In Denver, the city has its Basic Income Project, which gives cash without strings attached to people experiencing homelessness.
The project started in 2022 with a pilot program. Denver7's Clara Zarario looked into how it's paying off.
The pilot program split people into 3 groups. Group A will receive $1,000 a month for a year. Group B, $6,500 up front and then $500 a month afterwards. Group C, a control group, just $50 a month. The project gave cash payments to around 800 people experiencing homelessness. After 6 months, researchers from the University of Denver report the groups are sleeping outside less often. In Group A, unsheltered homelessness rates dropped from 6% to 0%. B's rate fell from 10% to 3%. And among Group C, that figure dropped from 8% to 4%. Full-time employment also increased for Groups A and B. The first year of a direct cash program is really just providing the foundation for people to get stability. And it's actually in year 2 that we see people really starting to thrive. I'm Claire Lavazorio for Denver7.
Last year, Denver also launched its Basic Cash Assistance Program.
It was established to help reduce financial instability caused by the pandemic and to support families in meeting basic needs required to thrive.
And statewide, Colorado has a temporary assistance for needy families program. That's a cash assistance program that helps eligible families with low incomes become self-sufficient through monthly payments and employment assistance.
So here to talk more about that, program's organizer here, Rebecca Ballou from Colorado's Department of Human Services. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's start with the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families program, also known as Colorado Works. How does it work?
Absolutely. So Colorado Works is a program that supports families who have children in the home. And the goal is as you said, is to help those families meet the basic needs and resources that they have. Our goal is to assist those families with a monthly payment, roughly $500 a month. And then we also provide additional assistance, resources. We help family members get back to school or get certificates through training, and we can even help individuals find employment.
I know that people who may be watching or listening think of this as maybe welfare. Is that an equal comparison or not?
That's a very good question. So roughly 30 years ago, the TANF program was known as the welfare program. But ever since, a number of policy and rule changes have taken place to truly support families through this program to meet their basic need.
And who is this program aimed at helping? How many people are benefiting from it?
Currently, we just looked at the numbers. We're supporting about 15,000 families statewide right now through the TANF program. Our goal is to help families, like I said, with dependents in their home. And so it depends. If a family is meeting a certain income threshold, they may be eligible for our program. And it's on a case-by-case basis. So we just encourage everybody to apply to see if they're if they qualify for the program.
Yeah, and what can people use the money for? Anything?
Yep, they can use the money for anything. There's no restrictions on the monthly cash assistance that they receive.
And that seems like a difference from, let's say, 30 years ago when there were all these rules and things that you needed to meet that, to use that.
Absolutely. And in addition, like I said, we provide further support. So we have really strong teams among county human services departments. So in every county in Colorado, families can access these services. And these teams are trained to help families achieve their goals. If that's going back to school, finding childcare, finding a job.
Rebecca, what has the impact been so far? And if you can, maybe share a personal story of someone that has been impacted.
We get personal stories from our county teams every day. There's a number of families, single parents who have been able to go back to school and get a certified nursing assistance degree, and now they're working in the healthcare industry. We have families who've been able to find childcare so the mom or dad can go back to school. So it's really impactful. And we also have a survey administered annually. And I'm happy to say that over 80% of the surveyed clients say that this program has helped them have really exceeded their expectations.
It's that feeling that I can breathe just a little bit easier every month.
Absolutely.
Now, Colorado has other cash assistance programs as well, like adult finance programs. What should we know about those?
Absolutely. So there's a number of programs that Colorado has to offer throughout their human services departments, as well as community-based organizations that may just be across the street from someone. We have programs called adult financial assistance programs. There are a variety of programs that help individuals who may not have a dependent in the home, individuals who are waiting to receive their supplemental security income, known as SSI. Those cash assistance programs can provide support while somebody waits to receive that additional income. We also have programs for burial assistance. So if families really need, they need to take care of their family member and provide meaningful services, we have a program that can provide up to $1,500 to assist with that.
Wow. So if someone is in need of help, where can they go to apply for this?
Well, that's a great question. So my favorite way to apply is called the MyCo Benefits application. You can access this on your smartphone. It's just MyCo Benefits. You download it. It's really a 3 to 5 question application.
Wow.
And it gets you in the door of getting to somebody at the County Human Services Department to help determine what programs you're eligible for. And then you can access our services online through the PEAK application. So think of a mountain peak,
Sure.
PEAK. That's a great way to determine if you're eligible for services also. And then if the virtual way doesn't work, you can always visit a county human services office.
All right, Rebecca Ballou with Colorado's Office of Economic Stability. Thank you so much for joining us for this Real Talk.
Thank you for having me.
We're just getting started with this Real Talk about cash assistance in the state. And after the break,
Yeah, we'll learn a little bit more about a program designed to help women in our community and how it's supporting gender equality. Stay with us. This is Real Talk with Denver7 and CPR News. Welcome back to Real Talk with Denver7 and CPR News. I'm Denver7's Micah Smith.
and I'm Colorado Public Radio's Nathan Heffel. This week we're talking about cash assistance programs.
This type of support comes as direct payments, and advocates say it is critical to combat poverty and inequality in our communities.
Organizations are still finding new ways to help support our neighbors in need. In fact, Colorado's first guaranteed income program for new moms just launched at the end of 2023. The Healthy Beginnings Project gives 20 mothers $750 a month for 15 months, from their third trimester through the child's first year.
It's funded by Goldbug, a children's apparel company based in Denver. We spoke to President and CEO Catherine Gold about why they started this.
If we can make a difference in our own small sort of way, and that can inform the public sector to move in a more grand way and scalable way, it's just such a wonderful opportunity.
The program's launch comes on the heels of new research from Columbia University showing cash programs during pregnancy can have both short and long-term impacts.
So let's dive a little deeper and highlight another cash assistance program that's focused on helping women and supporting gender identity.
Yeah, the Women's Foundation of Colorado has a grant-making program called WINCOME. It works with partners across the state to disperse cash assistance to women.
Here to tell us more at the program is Program Manager Krista Ayala Goldstein from Women's Foundation of Colorado. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Why did the Women's Foundation start dispersing cash assistance?
Yes, so over the years, the Women's Foundation of Colorado really saw the need and heard from our grantee partners a great need for flexibility in cash assistance and in programs that are helping women holistically achieve economic security and whatever that looks like for them. And so we, after speaking with grantee partners and really highlighting the work that our grantee partners are doing, we decided to focus a grant program called WINCOME on cash assistance and the flexibility that it can provide women and their families to move toward their lifelong financial goals.
And why is cash assistance important to women specifically?
Absolutely. So at the Women's Foundation, we are the only statewide community foundation that's focused on gender, racial, and economic equity. And for us, it's really important to utilize all the tools that we have to support increasing economic opportunity for all Colorado women. And so this has been cash assistance. This has also looked like public policy advocacy. And so cash assistance really became important as a tool for us to utilize and support women as they're achieving economic security. I mean, we know that there are so many gaps that sometimes traditional incomes or even public assistance programs do not close. And so this is where having flexible dollars really can meet their needs.
So speaking of that flexibility, I mean, how do women use the cash? Is there a specific example that you can talk about?
Absolutely. So in our year one evaluation of the WINCOME grant, we found that the top 3 uses of the cash were food, also transportation or transportation related costs, and lastly, rent or mortgage payments. And so we found broadly that these are, basic needs that women are fulfilling with this cash assistance. Additionally, we know just anecdotally that a lot of times women come up to emergencies. I mean, we heard from Erica earlier, and that is unfortunately what happens a lot of times is, we heard from a woman in Pueblo, for example, needing a water heater and having absolutely no funds for it, right? And so one of our grantee partners was able to support with the flexible cash assistance to purchase the water heater so that she could move on and think about other things like going to work and continuing to progress in her goals.
Crystal, how do we know cash assistance is working?
Yeah, so I think one of the primary ways that we see it is through stories that we hear from our grantee partners and their participants. We also hear, though, from mountains of evidence and other pilots and programs from across the state and across the country that really highlight how folks that are in pilots have less stress, they have better mental health, they're able to work more.
So for people that are listening and saying, is there a waiting list for this? Do I have to wait years for this assistance, or can I just go online or call you right now and say, hey, I need some help?
Yes, I think, we partner with 19 grantee partners across the state, 13 of which are providing some sort of flexible cash assistance. We are always happy to support and resource navigation to make sure that women and their families and gender expansive folks have what they need. There is not a waiting list, but these programs are hard to find because flexible cash assistance is something that, although it's a growing movement, there's still a lot of pushback around it, and folks still need a lot of support.
Why is there pushback for this?
So I think there are a lot of different myths about what happens when you support someone with flexible cash assistance. And some of those myths, one of the most common ones is people will not do useful things or will spend the money on non-useful things. And so what we're finding, though, in evidence from our WINCOME evaluations as well as broader evaluations is that that's simply not the case. People are utilizing the money for basic needs and to invest in their businesses and save money and move towards their longer term financial goals. And so although we know this is the evidence, we are trying to amplify it and ensure people know how this is really working. But yes, there is no waiting list, but these programs are not that easy to come across, and we hope to change that in the future.
All right, Crystal Ayala Goldstein, thank you so much for joining us. She's from the Women's Foundation of Colorado, a breath of knowledge. Thank you. We'll continue this real talk about cash assistance after the break.
Next, we'll hear from someone who's benefited from these types of programs, and her story has something to do with shea butter. This is Real Talk with Denver7 and CPR News. Welcome back to Real Talk with Denver7 and CPR News. I'm Colorado Public Radio's Nathan Heffel.
And I'm Denver7's Micah Smith. Today we're talking about cash assistance programs and how they're supporting our neighbors in need.
We've covered several programs open right now in the state, including one from the Women's Foundation of Colorado. Now we want to hear more about its direct impact.
I'd like to introduce you to Erica Wayoro. She owns a small business, and I recently chatted with her about this experience. Erica, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So how did you get connected with the Foundation's cash assistance program?
Well, it was a program through the Center for Community Wealth Building, and they actually scouted my business. I was at a farmer's market, about the beginning of farmer's market season, which, you know, we have to kind of plan the year. And they came to my booth and asked me if I wanted to participate in their program. I said yes, and the funds were like vital to me, being able to help my parents. They were sick in another state, and I had to go and see about them, get them moved from independent facility to retirement home. And then it also, those funds actually also helped me with my business. I make natural body care products. And so I was able to buy a large amount of the vital ingredient, which is shea butter, that I still have right now I'm working with. So it was $1,000. So it was a blessing.
$1,000 seems like it made a pretty big difference for you.
Oh yes, definitely. I was, like I said, I was able to help my parents with some of their health issues by getting them moved. It helped me with lodging in another state, rental car. You know, emergencies come up and they kind of catch you by surprise, but I didn't have to think about where I was going to pull that money and then how to make that back as like a self-employed person. So
Yeah. Nathan, one thing I want to mention is those who need cash assistance the most typically have inflexible schedules when it comes to their jobs and other obligations. So I was just really grateful to be able to have that time to catch up with Erica and learn more about her story.
And I think the big thing is that it's emergencies. It's like, oh, I have to do this, or I have to rental car, and the fact that there is no wiggle room for some people to have that, having that little extra, you know, bit to say, yeah, I can do that, makes a huge difference, it sounds like.
It does. It was really helpful for her in that situation. But Erica also told me she feels that this had long-term impacts as well. When you look back, what difference did it make in your life?
well, it gave me peace of mind for the moment because things happened quite fast and I had to leave town because it was, my parents were really sick. My mom has heart failure, COPD, and my dad was going downhill fast. So I had to kind of leave. It just really gave me peace of mind, not having to kind of exchange a worry for another, and worry about what I was going to do when I got back and how I was going to fill those finances.
Erica, there are a lot of programs out there, utility, rent assistance programs, but why is cash assistance sometimes the best option?
Because it enables you to do whatever it is that you need to do at the time. I mean, we all run into emergencies. The emergency I ran into was with my parents needing help right away. I couldn't wait. And so I think any of us could run into an emergency situation where it's not going to be well, are you going to use these funds for this? I mean, I feel like there's a stigma behind cash assistance that needs to go away because people need money when they need it.
Yeah. Stigma. Let's explore that a little bit more. What stigma do you think surrounds cash assistance? And I agree, but I want to hear from you on that.
Well, I mean, the stigma, I think it's just are they going to use it for shady purposes, or are they going to use money or are they going to say they're going to use money for this and it's not really going to go for that? I mean, if you need help, you need help. When I first got to Denver, my dad was on dialysis. His Social Security didn't come on time, and there were myself, which I think I was 19, and 3 3 other siblings, and we were homeless for like 3 months because, you know, we went to go apply, but these things weren't available, or they had ran out, or, you know, things of that nature. And I think in those types of situations, it's the most vital. I think we need to weigh, like, instead of like those social stereotypes and things that we need to really understand in our humanity, that people need money and they need it now.
Erica says that word humanity. I think that's so true. Also, not wanting to trade one worry for another worry, and the fact that it is essential for her and for so many other women, especially who need this cash assistance, to have that extra bit of funds.
Absolutely, and I think sometimes that stigma prevents people from applying for this type of aid. Erica said because this cash assistance has helped her so much, though, she wants other people to be encouraged and to benefit from it as well. We know certain cities, organizations have these cash assistance programs, and they're looking at expanding them. What are your thoughts on that?
I'd say that they should go for it and definitely, you know, provide, you know, more cash assistance for families, you know, and whatever they have to do to get that passed, because it's really important and vital for people. I mean, emergencies can happen to anybody.
Yeah. Going back to the stigma, I know that prevents a lot of women, a lot of families in need from applying for cash assistance, seeking it out. What advice would you give to those who need it most?
Basically, to set aside your pride or whatever it is, and just, you know, I feel like it's always better to ask than not, because if you or your family, especially if you're a woman and you have children, if you need it, then, you know, there's no shame in applying or asking.
Yeah. And as for the Women's Foundation of Colorado, what would you say to the leaders over there for how they were able to help?
They are awesome. I've never met such a group of like lovely women all in one space. I've actually gotten a chance to like speak in front of them and like talk to a lot of them. And I was able to go to like the women's luncheon. They're just a great amount of phenomenal group of women who are doing phenomenal things for Denver and Colorado beyond. And I just hope that they continue to get the, you know, the funding that they need.
Yeah. Well, Erica, I want to thank you so much for being courageous enough to share your story. I know, again, sometimes that can be really tough to say. There was a point in my life when I really needed this help, but I think your story is going to help a lot of our viewers and listeners out there. So thank you for this real talk.
Thank you so much.
Micah, just having that raw conversation with her and allowing her to tell her story. I bet there's so many other people out there who feel the same way. But that little step of saying, it's okay, especially if you have kids, to say, I need help. And these programs are out there waiting for you.
Yeah.
You just got to step up and say, I'm going to need that help.
You do. I think Erica's story and all of our guests sharing the information that they shared, it's going to help a lot of people.
Yeah.
Well, that's this week's episode of Real Talk with Denver7 and CPR News. Every week, we'll have a real talk on issues that impact Coloradans who are often overlooked.
You can find all of our shows on denver7.com/realtalk or at cpr.org/realtalk. Have a great day.